Time to pull up a chair. We've got another great story for you today in the rLounge. Pranks can be fun, but when they're at the expense of someone's feelings and trust, they cross the line from harmless joke to hurtful betrayal. Today in the rLounge, surviving family Christmas shenanigans is the real holiday miracle. Am I the a-hole for still withholding all of the presents I bought for the family because of their pranks? Okay, in the past couple of years, I started making good enough money that I bought a house, and I still have plenty after the monthly bills. My family have all been pranksters and at times entitled my whole life. But Christmas Eve, they took the cake. I was no contact with them for years, but they convinced me to reconnect after I moved closer. For gifts, I got them all good stuff, like tablets for the kids with built-in DVD players, sports memorabilia, and camping stuff for my dad, brother, and uncle, specific antiques, jewelry, and appliances for my mom, sister-in-law, and aunt. I brought my girlfriend with me, as what little family she has are horrid, so she was delighted to spend Christmas Eve with my family. Everything was going smoothly, and I warned my family, no pranks on me or my girlfriend, at all. They swore none would happen, but they could not resist. We got attacked by silly string from multiple fronts. That stuff reeks and gets everywhere. Somehow, we powered through that. But then came the gifts. I wasn't expecting much, but none of them even tried. I got dollar store cooking utensils, a pair of insanely ugly holiday socks that I confirmed were also dollar store, and a pink hat. And that was just for my parents. They all kept snickering and recording me as I unwrapped random junk, one being a used mirror to a car I no longer own. And the one gift there to my girlfriend was a bottle of fart spray. I told them I'd had enough, and they'd agreed to no pranks. Long story short, they weren't just gag gifts. They were the only presents there for us. I had enough and just started gathering up all the presents I'd brought. They all freaked out and demanded I give them back. I told them all that they didn't change one bit, and they could kiss all of that stuff goodbye. We bagged everything and stormed out. The family keeps calling and messaging me that I'm being greedy. I couldn't take a joke, couldn't think of anything to get me, the kids are crying, I don't need to go on. Am I the a-hole? I refuse to return any of the presents. Ask for an opinion, you're going to get one. First up, not the a-hole. It's not like you didn't warn them. Time to go no contact with them again. Anything you can't return to the shop it came from to get your money back or that you can't use yourself, give to a charity and tell them that's what you did. The next opinion says, not the a-hole. What's wrong with your family? A prank is only funny if appreciated by everyone involved, and you warned them that you didn't want to partake in anything like that. Furthermore, how is it funny to get a loved one awful gifts without a genuine present at the end? Your family aren't pulling pranks, they're just being a-holes. You did the right thing by taking away their presents, and while there's not much hope for the adults involved, maybe the kids might learn a valuable lesson about effing around and finding out. Not that they're to blame in all of this, but a point must be made. You warned them, you set boundaries, and they still decided to turn Christmas Eve into a circus of cheap pranks and even cheaper gifts. It's like they all collectively brainstormed, how can we ruin someone's holiday spirit in the most creative way possible? And let's talk about those gifts. Dollar store cooking utensils? Insanely ugly holiday socks? A used car mirror? It's like they raided the reject bin at the world's worst garage sale. At least they didn't gift wrap a bag of expired cheese. Honestly, you handled it like a champ. You didn't stoop to their level of immaturity. Instead, you gathered up the trash they called presents and made a dignified exit. Bravo! Update. My girlfriend recently saw my original post read on YouTube and asked that I update here. I previously posted in another subreddit about what my family did to me on Christmas Eve. Back at work, word of what happened with my family spread around the office when it shouldn't have. I talked about it to just one friend at lunch a few days after making my first Reddit post, and the office gossip just happened to be hiding nearby, listening to every word I said. Within days, it was all over the office, and someone in the office was apparently social media friends with my brother. In short, my family found out about my Reddit post, and they went off about how they thought I was a brat who couldn't take a joke. I told them the 400 not the a-hole comments said otherwise. Then they tried to say I didn't tell the truth. I asked them to read the post over the phone and tell me what it was in it that was a lie. Well, their recollection was suddenly quite bad because I made it clear every detail was on point. I even still have the messages from them confirming numerous details. They tried gaslighting, but I wasn't having it. I was never going to let them try to rewrite history again. My mother resorted to crocodile tears and guilting, but I called her and my father out as self-serving narcissists who played favorites and would rather make me the bad guy so they wouldn't have to feel bad about themselves. They didn't deserve to berate me or cry for sympathy when they were complicit in my misery since childhood. Then I hung up on them. They tried calling back again and again, but I refused to pick up, and I deleted all of their voicemails. But I kept the texts just in case I needed to go to a lawyer. More people in the extended family were made aware after links to my Reddit account got around. Initially, some sided with my parents and brother, but quickly switched sides when they saw the writing on the wall. My parents then tried to turn my brother into the new scapegoat for the situation since it couldn't be me, and then it turned into a chicken fight. After about 2 weeks, my parents showed up at my door to try and get me to talk to them, but I refused. I found out later that other relatives called them 50-plus-year-old children, and they owed me a lifetime of apologies. My brother apparently doubled down that what they did was funny and refused to admit any wrongdoing. But his wife and even his own kids were furious at him. He was made to delete the videos he recorded of me at Christmas by the rest of the family. And he blamed me for it because I ruined his best prank yet. My sister-in-law ended up slapping him and calling him a man-child, then saying she's never been so humiliated to be his wife. She was apparently unaware of what my family put me through growing up until the Christmas prank because I'd hardly seen her before cutting contact with my family. Then she gave him an ultimatum, marriage counseling and a sincere apology to me, or she would leave him. My brother stubbornly refused, and his wife took the kids and left for a few days. He then came to my house while intoxicated and yelling that it was all my fault, and I was a witch baby who couldn't take a joke. Then he started demanding I talk to his wife and fix things. I had to call our parents to come get him before I had police take him away. They showed up mortified and screaming at him to shut the hell up. After a few more days, my parents begged me to come over and speak to them. It took me a while to agree, and when I did, my brother was there with them looking like a kicked puppy. His wife had actually gone to get a consultation from a divorce lawyer, and my brother finally realized this was for real. And unless he acknowledged he was a massive a-hole, his life would be ruined. His wife did come back for the sake of keeping the kids in school, but even after months, my brother is still in the doghouse. My brother and parents apologized and admitted they never expected me to show up with such nice gifts, and I figured I wasn't likely to bring anything since I hadn't seen them in years. And they'd pranked me so much that it finally clicked with them why I'd previously gone no contact. And even though I showed up with real gifts, they went ahead with their plan anyway, since the prank gifts were already under the tree. And they somehow thought I'd share in the humor. They thought wrong. I told them they would never be apologizing like this if they weren't being humiliated for their actions. To which they actually agreed and started trashing themselves. Then I asked if the apologies they'd given me before were totally insincere and just a ploy to lure me back into the family. They couldn't say they were or weren't. I'm not sure even they know anymore. So then I had a very frank discussion with them about my childhood and why I might never want to associate with them ever again. They didn't argue with a single point I made. All the mistreatment, all the favoritism, all the scapegoating. Why? Because I was the unwanted child. I didn't ask to be born. And it sure as hell shouldn't have taken that long just for them to realize what kind of steaming piles of crap they were as people. They just sat there looking at the floor while I ranted at them, and my mother was crying and blaming herself and my father. And my father started blaming her and saying it all started with her. My brother for once in his life knew when to shut the hell up and accept fault. And when he finally did speak, he owned up to everything. Since it was too late to return the gifts to the store by the time I'd made my Am I the A-hole post, the presents I took back were left in my garage, just sitting in a pile. I ended up donating all of them to a local church for a charity rummage sale. So all of that stuff went to people other than my relatives. I was chastised by many for taking the gifts back from the kids too, but they were sharing in the delight of laughing at me that day. And now they have a lesson in consequences that it was good to have while still young. That said, my mother kind of negated that by going rogue and bought the exact same tablet DVD combo players for the kids that I did. My father was apparently furious with her at first because she put it all on their credit card. Each of those tablets was around $150, but the fight about it didn't last long. My brother and sister-in-law have been going to marriage counseling, and it's forced my brother to open his eyes. Our parents raised him to be the way he is, but he also kept it up well into adulthood. I've kept moderate contact with my family for the sake of getting to know my nibblings, and they're actually good kids. They don't blame me for taking the gifts back anymore because they understand how angry I was at Christmas. I had my birthday in March at a local pizza parlor, and my family were invited. It was literally their last chance, and shockingly, they did not blow it. They couldn't figure out what to get me, so they gifted me a large card with $100 cash in it, and a "Will do better" apology written in the card. They also gave my girlfriend a set of sterling silver earrings big apology as a makeup for Christmas since she'd refused to see them in person till then. It hasn't really been long enough since then for me to have any other kind of details other than things seem to be pleasantly normal now. No more pranks to me. They've even stopped doing them to each other. The whole situation just ruined what made it funny for them to begin with. Also, for all those who prior commented or DM'd me saying tablet DVD player combos don't exist, look them up for crying out loud. They do exist, and kids who have them love them. The ones my mother got my nibblings have barely left their hands since getting them. Lastly, I did report the office gossip that caused me to get rattled out to my brother, to HR, and that was just one thing in a line of complaints against them. So they were finally written up, and has been avoiding me as much as possible at work since then. First, your family pulls off the Christmas prank to end all pranks, only to find out you're not the laughingstock they thought you were. Cue the dramatic reveal of your Reddit post, and suddenly it's game over for their little charade. Your brother turns into a walking disaster, and your sister-in-law delivers the ultimate slap of reality. And just when you thought things couldn't get any crazier, your family attempts a last-minute redemption arc with your birthday, $100 cash, and a "we'll do better" apology? Sterling silver earrings as a peace offering? It's like they raided the sorry for being terrible relatives section at Hallmark. Here's to hoping your family's newfound sense of normalcy sticks around, OP. Do you have a similar story? Share it with us in the comments below. And thank you for joining us today. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and click that notification bell before you leave. We'd love to hear your thoughts on today's topic, so feel free to leave a comment. See you next time in the rLounge.